I had just set my coffee down when the knock came. 3 sharp taps to fast to precise. I looked up. Jillian from HR behind her. 2 security guards flanked the doorway like furniture no one wanted to admit was necessary. Now? I asked. Not rising. Jillian nodded once. Michael wants to speak with you. The guards didn't speak. They didn't have to. I stood, smoothed my skirt, and followed. I didn't grab my laptop. The elevator ride was quiet. Jillian's eyes never left the panel. She wasn't usually this pale. We stepped onto the executive floor. Carpet softer, silence deeper. She opened Michael's door without knocking. He didn't look up. Have a seat. He said. I didn't. What is this? He finally looked at me. No warmth, just polished distance. There's been a breach. Legal recommended we act swiftly. A breach, I repeated, his lips pressed into a line. Client strategy docs were leaked, sensitive ones, from your folder. That's not possible. IT traced the timestamp. The documents were accessed under your login outside business hours. I didn't blink. Michael, you know me. I know what the evidence says. I stepped forward. You've worked with me for 6 years. I've rebuilt 2 divisions. I've turned down competitors. This isn't personal, he said. It's entirely personal if you're firing me over a rumor. His jaw twitched. It's not a rumor. Then let's bring in legal. I'll give full access to my personal devices. Show every login, explain we've made a decision. I stared at him. Jillian cleared her throat behind me. Your termination package is on your desk. We'll escort you to collect your things. You didn't even ask me. I said quietly. Not once. You didn't even ask. Michael leaned back. We're protecting the firm. I let silence stretch. Then? No, you're protecting yourself. He didn't respond. His eyes flicked to Jillian. She stepped forward. I didn't look at her. You're going to regret this, I said. Voice calmed up. Michael shrugged. If I do, it won't be today. I turned, walked out. The hallway felt longer than I remembered. Back at my office, 2 cardboard boxes had already appeared at performance. Then dot as I packed. Co-workers passed, eyes averted, steps too quick. I caught Sarah's reflection in the glass. She paused, our eyes met. She didn't come in. I placed my framed certificate on top. The glass was cold by the time I reached the lobby. The guards had vanished. Jillian offered a neutral goodbye outside. The city buzzed like it always had. But something in me had gone still. The envelope was cream-colored, thick stock. Jillian slid it across the table like it might bite her. I've walked people up before. She said, you're the first I had to prepare a box for. How touching. It's a standard packet and DA. Benefits rundown. Cobra, you get 3 months severance. Is that before or after being accused of corporate espionage? She blinked. I can't speak to the investigation. There wasn't an investigation, please. Don't make this harder. I opened the envelope slowly, letting each page land on the table. This line says I'm not allowed to discuss internal matters with current employees. That's correct. And what if one of those employees helped fabricate the reason I was fired? Then that's between you and legal. We fulfilled our obligation. Obligation is a generous word for what just happened. Her lips tightened. You can sign here. Here, and initial the bottom. I picked up the pen. Held it between my fingers. Jillian, I said. Do you believe I leaked anything? She hesitated. I'm not part of the executive review. That's not an answer. I don't get paid to believe or not believe. That's not an answer either. She didn't meet my eyes. I signed. Downstairs, the office floor felt smaller than it used to. My nameplate was already gone. They'd acted fast. I passed Kevin near the coffee machine. He ducked his head like I was contagious. A group from my team clustered in the breakout space. I caught a flash of Marla's nervous glance before she turned away. Sarah was at her desk, headset off, looking down at her phone. I stepped closer. Hey. She looked up. Hey. That's it. I didn't know what to say. You could have said, this is wrong. Or I know you didn't do it. I didn't want to get dragged into something I didn't understand. 6 years, Sarah. We've had dinner at each other's houses. You flew out for my father's funeral. This wasn't my decision, no. But you stood by and watched it happen. I had no idea they were going to stop. Her voice dropped. What do you want me to say? I want you to admit it scared you. More to speak up than to lose me. She didn't answer. You let me walk out like I was disposable. Tears filled her eyes. She blinked them back. I'm sorry, that's not enough. I turned and walked away. By the time I reached the exit, my hands had stopped shaking. I didn't say goodbye to anyone else. That night, I lit a candle on the kitchen counter, poured a glass of Merlot, and pulled out the oldest of my notebooks, worn spine. Tabs curling at the corners. My strategy decks were lined up beside my laptop. I opened the first slide. Quarter 3. Restructuring proposal. Clean, precise, the logic still held. Pages turned. Wine deepened. Somewhere between the marketing funnel realignment and it canceled. Acquisition pitch. I circled a name in ink, Michael's, right there in the speaker notes. A red flag I hadn't seen the first time. I wrote his name again, smaller, then Sarah's, then Jillian's. I drew 3 dots beneath them, one for each silence. His smug face was a third post down on my feed. Excited to share, I've joined Delwyn Group as managing partner of strategy. Honored to lead with integrity and vision. I stared at the word integrity until it blurred. I dialed the number I wasn't supposed to still have. Hello? Daniel, it's me. A pause. Wow. It's been a minute. 3 years, 10 months, 16 days. You still at Westbridge? No. I left. Started my own shop. I'm calling about Michael Trent, still collecting enemies. Huh? I need to know what you told him. Back then, you're going to have to be more specific. Don't play dumb. You were on my project team the quarter I was fired, okay? Sure. Yes, you told someone I leaked data? I never said that. But you said something, he sighed. He asked who had access to the draft decks. I said you were lead. That was it. That wasn't it? You said I sent files externally. No. I didn't. Then who did? Silence. Daniel, I'm not here to ruin your life. I'm here to find the shape of the smoke that got me burned, he exhaled. Look, someone from Ops came to me, said they'd seen access logs, late night downloads. Said if I didn't confirm you touched the files, I'd be implicating myself. So you gave them what they needed. I was scared. You let me fall for your convenience. I didn't know they'd fire you. Of course you did. That was the point. He didn't argue. Who in Ops? I asked. I don't remember. Yes, you do. He hesitated. Travis Mendel. That name snapped something loose. He was dating Jillian, I said. Still is. Last I heard. I let that hang. Listen, Daniel said. I'm not proud of what I did. You're going to prove it. How? You're going to write a statement, every detail. The conversation, the threat, the pressure. He hesitated. You know I don't owe you that. You're right, you owe me far more. But I'm asking for this. Another pause. All right, he said. But if this blows up, I'll take the blast. I hung up. I opened Delwyn's site next. Clean, high gloss. The kind of place that used phrases like thought leadership and transformational growth. Michael's bio was impressive. Revisionist, but impressive. I clicked a link to their leadership board, downloaded the org chart, ran a cross-reference on recent M&A. Then I called Adrian. He answered on the third ring. It's been a while. I need corporate structure. Research, quiet, clean, target, Delwyn Group. Ambitious. I'm not buying, I'm studying. You do that better than most lawyers I know. I need subsidiary maps, vendor relations, any minority holdings, timeline, soon, but thorough. Is this about your old firm? It's about finishing a conversation they cut short. He laughed low. Then I'll enjoy this. I closed the laptop, pulled my notebook closer and drew 3 boxes. Travis gives, Jillian gives, Michael. Smoke has a shape. You just have to watch where the wind refuses to blow. I muted my mic and turned off my camera just before the Delwyn webinar began. Michael's voice came through the speakers, bright and calculated. At Delwyn, we believe innovation begins with trust. Transparency is the foundation of strategic growth. I took a sip of tea. Trust, I repeated under my breath. Adrian's voice crackled through the phone. He's doing panels now, weekly, visibility play. He always did enjoy the sound of his own ethics. He's working acquisitions hard. They've bid on 3 firms in the last 2 quarters. Do we know which arm he's using? Delwyn Strategic Equity. Smart, obscures accountability. I highlighted the name in yellow on my screen. Not smart enough. You've mapped the targets, yes? He favors firms with unstructured IP portfolios. Easier to absorb, harder to value, risky. But good for inflating quarterly optics. He's gambling with Delwyn's brand. But it'll catch up. Adrian paused. You ready for step 2? I started drafting articles of incorporation this morning. He chuckled. Name? Kestrel Insight Holdings. Very elegant. Very invisible. Exactly. You want me to draft Delaware, Wyoming? Delaware. Keep it clean. Directors, just me on paper. For now, and the capital structure minimal issue, enough to bid, not enough to raise eyebrows. You always did think 5 moves ahead, that's why I'm still standing. You want me to back channel a few former Delwyn vendors? Not yet. Let the net rest. I heard Adrian tap a pen. You've been watching him for nearly a year. I know. You think he sees you coming. No. That's the beauty of it. Men like him never look over their shoulder if the footsteps are quiet. He laughed. Remind me never to cross you. You wouldn't survive it. We hung up. I clicked back to the webinar. A woman from Ops was talking now, stiff and rehearsed. Michael stood behind her, smiling like a sponsor. Later that night, I opened my notebook. Delwyn internal review. Q1 increased turnover. Glassdoor ratings down 1.2. Complaints. Burnout. Chaotic leadership. Misaligned strategy execution. Keywords. Unclear ownership, last-minute pivots, partner pressure. I drew a circle around the word chaotic. Michael was overreaching. He always did when he felt invincible. My inbox chimed, Adrian again. Subject, Kestrel filed, confirmation at Chetty saved the PDF, then turned off the screen. Quiet isn't passive, it's preparation. I slid the folder across Adrian's desk. That's the 8th this quarter. He opened it, scanned the contents. Rexion Solutions. Cloud-based analytics, they handle Delwyn's internal dashboards. I confirmed via back-end architecture on their FP. Adrian whistled. You want 10%. 7. Quiet stake, Class B shares. No board presence. Who's fronting it? Brindle Equity. We drafted the agreement last week. Not using Kestrel. Not for this layer. I want Kestrel clean, only visible when it's time to surface. He tapped a pen. You ever think about revenge in garden terms? I looked at him. Only when I'm planting something cold. He grinned. So what's next? Montech Digital. They designed Delwyn's slide templates and annual reports. You're going after PowerPoint. I'm going after the people. Whose shape perception? Adrian leaned back. And if they find out what you're doing, they won't. Not yet, none of the stakes are big enough to trigger audits. But they're enough to get me into board meetings, policy discussions. Eventually. I won't need to be everywhere, I'll already be underneath. He studied me. You ever get tired of being the smartest person in the room? No. I get tired of pretending not to be. He laughed, passed me a new set of papers. Then let's talk about ownership thresholds. You'll want staggered acquisition clauses. I nodded. Stagger them over 3 fiscal periods, 2%, then 2. Then 3. Leave room for contract reviews. Michael wouldn't recognize your name on a cap table, but he might notice your style. He doesn't read fine print. You sure? I built his quarterly slides for years. He only reads what's highlighted. Adrian marked a section in red. That's why I love working with you. You make destruction look like design. I said nothing. He flipped to the next page. You want me to review Kestrel's bylaws again? No changes, any new hires, just one, a shadow analyst. She's ex-Sterling Group. Whistleblower in their 2021 fraud case. You're collecting sharp tools. I'm building a scalpel. Adrian glanced at his watch. Michael's due to speak at that fintech forum next week. Want me to attend? No. Let him talk. He grows careless when he's applauded. What to read on him lately? He's overextended. He's using too many short-term wins to mask long-term rot. And he's still pretending he understands finance. He doesn't? He understands showmanship. That's different. Adrian nodded. So what's the endgame? I met his eyes. I don't need to cut the tree down. I just want the roots to stop feeding it. And you? I'll be standing where the frost used to be. Adrian didn't smile. He just pushed the papers back toward me. Then let's keep digging. The conference room at Delwyn's Manhattan office smelled like leather and ink. I'd been here before, once years ago. Back then, I was an outsider looking up. Now I sat at the head of the table. Diana Leroux entered precisely at 9 o'clock, flanked by 2 associates in Taylor Gray. Her gaze swept the room before landing on me. You're the principal of Kestrel? She asked. Yes, I expected someone different. People usually do. She took the seat opposite. We've reviewed your offer. It's aggressive. It's also cash-backed, debt minimized, and unanimously supported by our investors. And you're asking for full operational control. I'm not asking. She raised an eyebrow. You understand how this will be perceived. Delwyn's internal numbers have been declining for 7 quarters. Your leadership turnover is bleeding value. What's left to perceive? Diana leaned back. You've done your homework. I've been doing it for years. She watched. Me? Your legal team declined to share the full executive roster behind Kestrel. We disclosed everything the bylaws require, but not the face behind it until now. I folded my hands. Does it matter to me? Only if you make it matter. I nodded toward the folder in front of her. Then sign. Let's stop pretending this is a negotiation. Diana looked at the papers. Then back at me. Michael doesn't know yet. I'm counting on that. He's still on the senior team. Strategy lead. I know. You plan to keep him? Until I don't. A smile tugged at her lips. You're not here to run a company. You're here to finish a sentence. I'm here to write the last line. She tapped her pen twice, then signed. Done. I stood. Have the team assemble in 20. They won't be pleased. Neither was I. The boardroom emptied. Only Diana remained. You won't find many allies in this building. I didn't come for allies. She nodded. Then I hope you enjoy the throne. I didn't come for that either. 20 minutes later, I stepped into the executive briefing room. Michael stood near the window. Back to the group, gesturing as he spoke, still the performer. So if we align Q3 projections with the Century acquisition model, we'll maintain our growth optics. He turned mid-sentence and saw me. The pause was beautiful. He blinked. I am. His gaze snapped to Diana. What is this? She answered without emotion. A change in ownership? He looked at me again. You can't be serious. Does it look like I'm joking? You bought Delwyn, Kestrel. Did you're behind Kestrel? I smiled every inch. This is absurd. No, Michael. What's absurd is fabricating a data breach to eliminate a threat. What's absurd is thinking that wouldn't have consequences. You can't just walk in here. I already have. You're not qualified to run this company. Neither are you. But I can rebalance sheets without a pitch deck. He stepped forward. I fired you to protect Delwyn. No. You fired me to protect yourself. From what? From someone smarter than you, he flushed. This won't last, you're right. It won't. Pack your things, you're terminating me, effective immediately. Your severance terms are in the envelope on the table. Generous considering this is revenge. This is accountability. He looked around. No one moved. No one defended him. You planned this for 3 years, he asked. 3 years? 10 months? 16 days? You're insane. No. I'm patient. He stared at me, chest heaving. I waited. Finally, he grabbed the envelope, shoved past me, and left without another word. Diana approached as the door closed. That was efficient. He's not worth anything else. You're colder than I expected. I looked out the window. Frostkell's rod. She nodded once. Welcome to Delwyn. The conference room was all sharp edges, glass walls, white steel, chrome chairs that made no sound. You could see the whole floor from inside, but still feel sealed off like a lab specimen. I chose a seat facing the door. Michael entered at 11:01, 1 minute late, with that signature half smirk he used in investor briefings. He stopped when he saw me. You called this meeting. I did. He looked toward the hallway, then stepped in, letting the door seal behind him. You've made your point. I'm not here for symbolism. Then what? Closure. He sank into the chair across from me. You want me to grovel? I want you to listen. Say what you came to say. I slid the folder toward him. That's a copy of the internal memo Travis Mendel sent to Jillian Marks the week I was fired. He claimed I accessed and leaked proprietary decks. Michael didn't open it. He got that information from a misattributed access log. The download came from his own terminal. Daniel Ridge confirmed it. Daniel? He gave me a signed statement notarized, his signatures on the second page. I don't need to read this, you do. He stayed still. I continued. I cross-checked your Slack messages from that week. You messaged Jillian 5 minutes after Travis sent the memo, told her, and I quote, "This is clean enough to act." His jaw tightened. You didn't check the timestamps, you didn't verify the source. You didn't speak to me. You just signed the release form and had me escorted out. You don't understand what was happening that week, no. You don't understand what happens when people stop being afraid of you. He leaned forward. You really think sitting in this chair makes you powerful? I think I built this seat before you even saw it coming. He scoffed. This company is bigger than one mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. You weren't the only one under review. I was the only one fired. His voice rose slightly. Because I had to act quickly. No, I said calmly, because I was outperforming you. And you didn't like having someone in the room who made you feel replaceable. He leaned back. This isn't a confession booth. No, this is a board-sanctioned exit interview. His smile faltered. You don't have the authority. I do now. I have full operational control. You were notified by legal this morning. Your resignation is expected by close of business. You think I'll just walk? I know you will, because if you don't, I'll unseal the memo. I'll distribute the full investigation summary to the board, and I'll release Daniel's testimony in the next shareholders meeting. I won't need to fire you. You'll be radioactive. He stood, pacing. You've been sitting on this. For how long? 3 years. I did it slowly, thoroughly, legally, every acquisition, every stake. I took my time. You should have taken me seriously when you had the chance. This is personal. It's not emotional. That's different. You don't want reconciliation. You want blood. I want accountability. He turned, eyes narrow. You know what this looks like from the outside. I don't care. You're burning the whole system because one man hurt your ego. I stared at him. No. I'm restoring this system because one man got away with it. He said nothing. You can resign quietly. I've drafted a statement amicable separation. Leadership transition. You keep your reputation, your network, and if I refuse, then I bury you, publicly, precisely, completely. He stood silent, breathing hard. Then, you've changed. No. You finally saw me clearly. He walked to the wall of glass, looked out. The city was soft with mist. His reflection floated in the pane, distorted. Small. He turned. Why didn't you confront me sooner? Because you wouldn't have heard it. He nodded, almost to himself. What happens now? You sign, you leave, and I rebuild what you tried to hollow out. He looked at the envelope on the table. I assume it's all in there, everything. And yes, your severance is intact. He gave a tight laugh. Even now, you're cleaner than me. I stood. You should be grateful for that. He didn't answer. I walked to the door. You in? He said. I turned. No. I just endured longer than you did. Then I left him there, in the glass box he used to rule from small, silent, and finally alone. The press release went live at 10:03 a.m. Delwyn Group announced a strategic realignment. Michael Trent, managing partner of strategy, will be stepping down to pursue new ventures. Diana forwarded it to me without a subject line. I replied with one word. Approved. At 10:17, Sarah called. I let it ring. Then I picked up. Hi. She said. Sarah. I saw the news. Most people have. She hesitated. I didn't know you were behind Kestrel. You weren't supposed to. I had no idea what happened to you after they let you go. You didn't ask. I wanted to. I just see everything moves so fast. It was like you disappeared. I didn't disappear. I was erased. I didn't want to believe the rumor. But they made it seem true enough to stay silent. She inhaled. I was scared. So was I. I should have said something. You didn't. Silence. I'm sorry. She said finally. I believe you. A pause. You don't sound angry. I'm not. Then what are you? Done. She swallowed audibly. Is there anything I can do? No. That was 3 years ago. I'd like to meet. Talk properly. There's nothing to talk about. She sounded smaller. I miss our friendship. I don't. The line held. Tight and quiet. I hope you're okay, she said softly. I am. But not because of you. I hung up. At noon. Diana knocked once and entered my office. I take it that was Sarah. She wanted closure. Diana nodded. Did you give it to her? No. I gave her a mirror. She sat. The board wants to know if you'll say something. At the quarterly, no speech, not even a few words. They want a soundbite. I want results. She smiled, still sharp. I didn't come back for applause. You've earned it. I came to clean the rod. Well, she said. He's gone. Good. You're not celebrating. Not externally. She crossed her legs. I've worked with a lot of people in this job. You're the only one who turned a firing into a takeover. I didn't build a company to get even. What did you build it for? So I'd never have to ask permission again. She nodded. The board supports your direction. Unanimously. They should. She stood. There's champagne in the lounge. Let them drink it. Diana lingered at the door. You? No, there's something poetic about this. I'm not interested in poetry. She smiled. That's what makes it work. After she left, I looked out at the city. Glass towers reflected back only sky. I didn't need a microphone. I didn't need a headline. He was gone, and I was still here. The new team gathered every Monday at 8 a.m. No exceptions. I didn't sit at the table. I watched from the wall-length screen in my office. Audio off, expressions sharp. I want the audit complete by Friday, Gray said. No delays. We have no margin for error anymore. Someone muttered agreement. Heads nodded. No one deferred. No one hesitated. I turned the volume on. And what about the new whistleblower channel? Max asked. Operational, Gray said. Full anonymity. Legal reviews will be blind flagged and encrypted. Good, I said aloud. Though they couldn't hear me after the meeting. Diana knocked once and stepped inside. They're adjusting. Fast, she said. They were hungry for clarity, just needed room to use it. She handed me a folder. HR rewrote the grievance policy. No arbitration clauses. You want to approve it yourself? No. Let them own it. She smiled. You're really not going to run this company from the front, are you? I don't need to. You're already changing its bones. That was the point. Diana said. They've noticed. Who? The staff. They talk about you like a weather system. I looked out the window. What kind of weather? Controlled, necessary, a cold front that made the air breathable again. I didn't respond. You could take the title formally, she said. CEO? Chair? Name it. I don't want it. You earned it. I earned peace. She nodded. So what will you do instead? Draft for acquisition. Filters, code of conduct overlays, data compliance, culture risk factors. You're building a new standard. I'm correcting an old one. She smiled again. You always were too big for your desk. I didn't want a bigger desk. I wanted a room where no one got pushed out for telling the truth. She stood. It's starting to look like that. When she left, I opened the dashboard. 6 new reports filed for anonymous to under names I recognized. I didn't open them. I didn't need to. I leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. Quiet isn't absence. Its alignment. The villa was quiet in the way only old things can be. Thick stone, air that held still. Mornings began with coffee and no screens. By the second week, I stopped checking the clock. One morning, a woman at the bakery asked in accented English, "Are you writing a book?" "No," I said. "I'm remembering how not to write anything at all." She smiled, handed me warm bread, and didn't ask again. On the terrace, the hills spilled out in waves. Cypress trees like ink strokes. I watched bees vanish into lavender. My phone buzzed once. Adrian. I picked it up. Alive? He asked, unplugged. Delwyn's restructuring went through. New policies passed with unanimous board approval. I expected that. Any interest in the next phase? No. He laughed. That's the shortest sentence you've given me in 5 years. Take it as a gift. You sound different. I am. He paused, happy stillness. Isn't happiness? But it's close. Can I tempt you with a portfolio in Berlin? No. Singapore? No. You're killing me. You'll survive. A long beat. You're not coming back, are you? I didn't leave anything unfinished. You left an empire. No. I left a functioning system. There's a difference, you're sure? Yes, another pause. You ever get tired of being right? Never. He laughed again. Okay. I'll stop calling. No. You won't. He didn't deny it. Stay well. Stay honest. I ended the call and set the phone face down. The sun slid higher. I walked to the edge of the terrace and sat barefoot on the stone. A lizard darted past. The breeze smelled like rosemary and wood smoke. I closed my eyes. There was no title waiting. No speech to give. No voice to raise. And for the first time in years, I didn't need one. Tools.